Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about. Well, the names have all changed since you hung around, but those dreams have remained and they've turned around. Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Back here where we need ya. Back here where we need ya. Yeah, the tease him a lot, 'cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back. All right, so remember I was talking about the heat gun shrink wrap thing, sleeve thing for my cable. So, it kind of worked. So so I was able to, because right here it was all kind of jacked up and splitting. So it's like right where it got like the biggest to kind of big to the actual cable. There was a lot of splitting there. And so I put this thing on there, and now I probably should have went with the one that was a little bit smaller because there's a little bit of gap here still, but it works. And so and you know what's funny? All the like on the site, all the example photos were all Apple wires. So I guess it's a thing. So yeah, so I think that's on there pretty good. So we'll see. There was one that was smaller, which I probably should use, but it would have been a pain to get over this bigger piece. And so I don't know. I think it came out all right for my first time ever doing it. I'm thinking maybe if I had a more powerful heat gun, that might have shrunk it more there. But I mean, we'll see. I think in the garage there's another one, but not bad for my first time doing it. So we'll see how that ends up. So cool. And yeah, so there's that. So got that done. Also, so another thing that I'm working on that I'm probably gonna try to do soon is so I got these speakers from my job for winning like an internal hackathon thing. So that was cool. And I recently put up a projector screen. 'Cause I have this projector from like a Kickstarter project a long time ago. And so I have this projector, and I tried it out because I have this big curtain in my van, like a black curtain. And I watched like Eternals on it. I was like, oh, it's pretty cool, not too bad. So I actually bought a real projector that slides down. And so I got that hooked up, and I'm thinking I can put these speakers up, and so I can get some really good sound. And so I have like railing going around, and so I have these are actually like handles for like the rails or whatever. But I'm thinking what I could do is I could put on these little things here, so I can attach them to the top part, the railing, and then I can just put these. So when I'm ready to watch it, I can just like slide it in to the thing, so that it'll just hold it, and I could probably like angle it down or something. And so that is the plan. That's what I'm going to do in the next break. So yeah, random stuff I'm working on. And so, cause I want to watch The Harder They Fall tonight, and so I'm thinking that because I want to get some good sound on that, so I think that should be cool. And yeah, so neither here nor there. So that's the random stuff I'm working on today. So yeah, I'm hoping to get some coding, but right now I got the radio show post promotional stuff done. So like the email blast, social media stuff, all that done. Got the shrink wrapping of the cable. Got the going to set that up, see if that can work. Yeah, feeling pretty good so far. And it's only like the first cipher of the day. Nice. And then I'm thinking in between ciphers, that's when I'll cut my hair, because it's a lot. All right, so let's talk about something I found interesting recently. So it all started off with a tweet, like so many things do. And so this tweet here. So let me share my screen. We're gonna take a journey real quick. Start screen share, because I'm always into looking into how to. I said to a lot. Ways that I can make applications that I create like faster, right? And so came across this, which I thought was pretty interesting. So shouts to Steve Sewell, pretty sure, hopefully I said that right. And I saw this graphic here. And so you can see like it's just like a card, like a review card. And then it says components hydrated. It starts off at 0. And then when they click the thumb up, one component was hydrated. And then we do the like the ratings, the star ratings. That's another component that's hydrated. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So it kind of reminded me like of like what I've been kind of doing with like Astro, because Astro is a framework that will ship as like little JavaScript initially, and then any interactive parts it will hydrate it, is what they call it. And so this one looks like it takes it down to an even more micro level, to where like individual little components can be hydrated. So it's something called Quick, QWIK. And this is the granular hydration. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Actually said, looks interesting. I'll have to check it out. And I kind of did. So incremental hydration is one of the most exciting innovations of Quick Dev. And it went to the hash. So we'll go to that. Pages are pure HTML to start, near zero JS, because you're going to need some JS to be able to flip that from inactive to interactive. You know what I mean? Because you could just have that, and if the person interacted with it, then you didn't need any JavaScript to make it interactive. And so that's what is pretty cool. You know what I mean? So it's there if somebody wants to make it interactive, it can be, which I think is cool. So yes, the pages are pure HTML to start, near zero JS. Like I said, you need some JS to make the flip, and only hydrate granularly as needed. So like they're saying with the thumb up and the stars, which is pretty cool. And you combine this with prefetching, and you have instantly fast plus interactive pages. So prefetching is kind of like where I've seen it and kind of done it before, is that if somebody hovers over a link, before they even click it, it'll go and get the information for the page, so that when they do click it, it just loads like instantly. So yeah. All right, cool. So then I went to so I'm going to add this link to this tweet to the archive video so you can check that out. All right, and then I clicked on the Quick Dev. I'm like, oh, let me find out more about this. So here's the Quick Web Dev Framework, right? And so let me add that to the list as well. All right, and so it's a framework focusing on time to interactive. So the time that you can actually like click a button and it actually does something. Because sometimes some websites take a lot longer to load. And so you may be trying to click a button, but it hasn't finished loading, and all this stuff so it takes time. So time to interactive is how quickly like you can click a button and it'll do whatever it's supposed to do. And so they don't have an actual website yet. So they have the GitHub, which is cool, but you know. And then so it's a part of a okay, so this is what I found interesting. It's created by M. Hevery. And he's actually the creator of like Angular and Angular.js. I'm like, oh, nice. And also the co-creator of Karma.js, which I think I've heard of before. Not sure. But I was like, oh, that's pretty dope. And then this other person, Adam Bradley. And I'm a fan of web components. And so I've used Stencil.js before to create web components. And so he's the creator of Stencil.js. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And then co-creator of Ionic Framework, which Ionic created Stencil because they were using it in their framework. And so that's pretty cool. So I like it when people are like building tools for their own internal stuff. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. Maybe it's helpful for other people. And then we all kind of get to enjoy it. So that's cool. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. So then so the outer company that created it was called Builder.io. Now, so I was like, all right, so went to Builder. So I was like, oh, this looks cool. I'll look into that soon. So then I went down the rabbit hole. I'm like, oh, Builder.io. And so it looks like it's a no coding platform where you can like click and drag various elements to kind of create a website. And I guess it's geared towards like e-commerce and things of that nature. So I went to the website. I'm like, all right, let me check out the website. Oh, by the way, let me add this to the list of links that will be next to the video in the archive. So you can always check it out for yourself. And so I went to builder.io. And so since I mentioned it, let me add that here. Cool. And so, yeah, so you can visually build on your stack. Because what they're saying is that you lay it out, And then what you can do is like you export it. And then I think said like you could do web components, you could do Angular, React, like all these different things. I think Svelte as well. And so you build it. So like you see, you just kind of like changing stuff up, you know, without actually having like the code stuff. You kind of drop things in and you can modify them, which seems pretty cool. And then you can export it, I guess. So it has visual editor, headless CMS, and an optimization layer. So you can do like A/B test experiences and target content. That's pretty cool. Then so you can integrate with all these different things. And then yeah, so you can plug visual editing into any website or app. So I guess if you have a site, you can kind of add it along with it. And then there was a part where, okay, I guess it's this. So you could take the visual layer and then put it out to these things here, which seems cool. So like Vercel, React. No, that's next, I think. I don't know. Gatsby. No, that's next. I guess that's Vercel. No, that's next. Yeah. Okay. Vue, HTML, I guess, and then Shopify. And then you can host them here. That's cool. Yeah. They can remove dependencies, move faster. And like I said, they're focused on time to build. So yeah, so that's that. That's what they do. So like I said, landing pages, Shopify, storefronts, headless CMS, headless storefronts. And so they have a bunch of stuff. Cool. So then I went to the GitHub repo of Quick. I'm like, all right, let me check out what this Quick thing is about. Let me add this link. And then, all right, so there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. Cool. I was kind of looking through the folder, seeing what's there. There's a lot of stuff happening. And so, like it says, the HTML first framework. And so Quick is designed for the fastest possible page load time by delivering pure HTML with near zero JavaScript for your pages to become interactive, regardless of how complex your site or app is. It achieves this resumability of HTML and ultra fine grained lazy loading of code. Cool. And so you do this to start it. And so what I thought was, so they have all these different like blog posts. So then I went to this first blog post, which is dev.to. And so a first look at Quick, the HTML first framework. I'm going to add this to the list of links as well. Oh, a whole lot of links. All right. And so going through it, cool. And talking about, at builder.io, which we just saw, we empower non-developers to build and edit blazingly fast sites. I don't know, with a powerful visual editor. One of the cool things about our visual editor is that we can generate the same sites in different technologies. So everything from Angular to web components. Oh my God, that's pretty cool. And every framework in between. And so I guess they're using Quick to do that. But then, I don't know, maybe again, I was kind of just going through it quickly, but I didn't see where you could export stuff. But scrolling down, I came across this here. Let me see. So there was a thing where you could, okay, here we go. Stack Blitz. Again, shout out to Stack Blitz. So you can kind of actually check it out. And so while that loads, but it looks interesting. And so like so while that's loading, so from what I understand is that you create it and it has a server also. So the thing is, the difference with Astro compiles all your stuff into the HTML, JavaScript, and then if you're using like Svelte or whatever, it will include that when needed, depending on how you have it set up. And so there is no like server per se, whereas this has a server component. And so like all the requests go to the server, and then I guess it does all the compilation, the compiling, and then spits that out. At least that's from what I'm seeing. So I think that's from what I'm seeing is the difference. Whereas this has a server, and so you could do more things. Whereas Astro is like you just compile everything, and then you just put that on a web host where you don't really need a server because everything is already kind of generated. So yeah, that's what I think is the difference. So here it is. So now if you check this out, so here, this requests. So keep an eye on that because that's what I saw. So what it loaded was just a quick loader .min.js, which is that near zero JavaScript, right? And then it has the CSS and the index, some more CSS. And then, so keep an eye on that. And then when I click here, right, to mark that off, to read quick docs, you see how it loaded a bunch more JavaScript because it became interactive. Cool. So, so they say you take a tour. The to-do app should have come up in the Stack Blitz IDE. Open it in the inspector. Notice that the app was delivered as HTML. Then notice that very little JavaScript got downloaded, executed with the application, which is showed before. Then you can open the network tab and know that more code is downloaded as you interact with the application. And so it's kind of like with Astro. Like if you scroll your component, you can set it up that if it's visible, then it'll load the JavaScript needed to make it interactive. Otherwise, it's just like not interactive, it's like just straight HTML, CSS. And then so you can look for on-click, on-key up element attributes, which define the event listener. So yeah, so all the different things. Cool. Then I went to look at the source. Source. And then, so then I saw the client HTML. And so, yeah, so you see here, I guess dec L is like declarative template. And then you go to UI/to-do app template, right? And then I noticed this other stuff. So then you kind of set up the script to run it. So there's queue. And the protocol, I guess the UI is coming from folder UI. And then the data is coming from the data folder, which are these here. So you're kind of like setting things up. And then you're saying, I guess the template for this section is going to be the to-do template. And then on init, I guess, mark dirty. I'm not sure all that means. Again, I have to go through the docs or anything, but yeah. And so then I went to like the UI. And so there's a whole bunch of, so it looks like, I guess they're using React. I'm not sure, or just at least like JSX or the TypeScript version TSX. And so, like, for example, if you look at, let's look at the footer, what have you, right? So there's a footer TS. And so it's using the JSX declare component, something called QRL, which I guess is their, like, I guess query kind of thing. And the entity, I guess, to say what it is. And there's the to-do entity. So it's pulling that stuff in. And then the to-dos, you're kind of setting it as a to-do entity. So that's where all the like TypeScript stuff is coming in. And then you're setting the footer. And then I guess the QRL is saying, all right, the UI is going to be this, and you're calling it footer. Kind of like how you have the custom elements.define, where you say like the thing and what you're going to call it. Okay. So this is what I like about like Stack Blitz and things like that. You can just try it without having to put it on your computer, on your like local machine. You can just take a look at it and play around with it and not have to worry about like breaking anything. And yeah, then you can, I guess, the filter here in the footer. All right. So yeah, so it's kind of all right, cool. So there's a lot of different moving parts and things. So that's cool. So yeah, that's like the UI part. And then, like I said, there's the server. So this is a server index. So you're doing a bunch of like rendering and stuff. So maybe it's not React itself, but like React-like with the JSX stuff, which is cool, I guess, if you're into React. One thing about React, which I always thought was kind of strange. Let's it might be in here. Is it? They didn't use it here. One of these, I think, was it main? Like this is one thing I'd never understood about React. Where is it? It's not this one. What was it? Was it to do? I don't know if you ever seen like sometimes there's like brackets, but they're just empty. And I'm like, why do we have empty brackets? It's so like strange to see. Yeah, here. Like, why is that a thing? Like, I understand, I guess, because it has to be encapsulated in something, but if you put like a section or a div, is this more performant? again, like if any people that know React, like I just never understood, like I didn't know that was like a thing that you could do. So I don't know. That's just me rambling, but it has nothing to do with Quick. But yeah, seems cool. And then here's like the server stuff. And then I noticed it uses Domino, and Domino is pretty awesome. Like I've seen Domino before. And so I looked up Domino as well. Again, I went down this rabbit hole of stuff. And with Domino, at least from what I can kind of understand it, is that because a lot of times when you try to do stuff on the server, there is no DOM, right? Because it's a server. There's like no window object or anything like that. So there's no DOM. So you can't really attach things like event listeners and stuff because there's nothing there. And so what Domino does, it somehow creates like a DOM on the server. And so that way you can do stuff. So yeah, so Domino's goal is to provide a DOM in Node on the server, which is cool. So a lot of different libraries use Domino. So like I guess for like server-side rendering, so you can kind of like generate all this stuff and like run any kind of JavaScript maybe there, and then just ship that down without the JavaScript because it already ran to the browser. I think that's how that works. So again, you can check it out. I'm going to add a link to it, but I was like, Domino is like the MVP. It's like a lot of stuff is on that, which is pretty cool. So yeah, so that's where we're at. I'm gonna get y'all back to work because I kind of rambled on long enough. But yeah, so shouts to the good folks over at builder.io for putting together Quick. And yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Like it looks pretty cool. And so some of my sites, like right now, I've been trying to keep it super bare minimum to like where I don't even need like a server. But if I ever need one, I might check this out because SvelteKit is still like in beta. So while I'm playing around with stuff, I might just kind of check other things as well. So, but yeah, no, this seems cool. And yeah, I'm probably do a little bit more deep dive into it and check it out. So if you checked it out, let me know what you think. And if you used it on anything, I'd be interested in checking that out. So again, all right, I'm going to get y'all back to work. Thank y'all for hanging out and going on this rabbit hole with me. All right, I'm going to get y'all back to work. Let me close these other tabs. And yeah, so again, if you've used Quick, let me know what you used it for and how you found it. Because it looks like a lot. Like there's a lot of stuff happening. So it's not just something where I can just like pick up, maybe over a weekend if I'm really focusing on it and trying to build something. But it looks like a lot of stuff happening, a lot of moving parts. So if I have some time, I'll check it out some more. All right, cool. Neither here nor there. All right, get y'all back to work because I want to try and see if I can hang up those speakers. All right, thank y'all once again for hanging out. I'm going to send y'all back to work with some traveling music. Hopefully you are getting some stuff done. If not, it's cool. It's cool to let yourself just kind of relax and chill out. You know what I'm saying? That's what weekends are for. But yeah, if you're working on anything, I wish you much productivity. And yeah, so I'm going to send you all out with, this is Anthony Cruz, a.k.a. A Butta. The track is called Thank You, because I want to thank you all for hanging out. All right, so 15 minutes after the hour, we'll come back. If there's nobody that wants to do a show and tell, we'll take a look at an artist's website, who we played on the radio show, and listen to some music. All right, and watch some videos. All right, so again, thank you all for hanging out. See y'all later. Bye.
I want to say thank you for holding on when a brother was down and out. Now I feel so strong, and I want to say thank you for being there when a brother had nowhere to turn to. You were there, and I'm feeling like yeah. And everybody says yeah. We spread it love like yeah. I want to say thank you for holding on when a brother was down and out. Now I feel so strong, and I want to say thank you for being there when a brother had nowhere to turn to. You were there, and I'm feeling like yeah. And everybody says yeah. We spread it love like yeah.